In the year 2012, I am standing in front of a group of students for a juvenile fire setters course in the Winchester Public Library. Juvenile fire setting is a program sponsored by the state of Massachusetts for kids who have been caught lighting fires in exchange for having to spend a day in court, agree to do a 10-week fire safety course. I have been teaching this for 5 years with a group of educators, and I have never heard this question before. 12-year-old looks at me and says, "This must be why you teach this course." And I have no idea what he's talking about. So I ask him what he means, and he says, "Well, you told us it was one of the hardest fires you ever fought, and both your brothers were directly affected by this." And I start tumbling back into time at this point to that November evening in 1991. I'd been a firefighter for 5 years at that time, and I had recently been assigned as permanent pump operator for Everett Engine 1. The first thing I remember thinking that night was, how do the fire gods know that I'm eating? It was an affectionate term for dispatch. Box 4212 had rung in, and it was a place, a location that we knew really well. We'd been there many times, and almost nothing ever happened there. As we pull out of Central Station, Engine 1 and Ladder 1, we get a little bit more information. The restaurant owner has called and said that he smells smoke. My first thought is, yeah, it's food on the stove. But my gut's not buying this at all. That's not how these fires come in. As we pull up to the location, I can see the restaurant owner waiting outside the restaurant, and right next to his restaurant is my brother's indoor miniature golf course. As my crew goes over and talks to the owner of the restaurant, I busy myself getting ready, going through my rotations of what to do if this is a fire. I have not even finished up with this when my crew comes back, and they're not getting on the pump to return to station. They are grabbing their air tanks and asking me to give them hose lines that they can drag into the basement. I help them a bit with that, then come back and wait for their signal to give them tank water. Then after that, I have to connect to a hydrant to make sure that they still keep getting a continuous flow of water. And then I take deliberate time with the crank that opens up the pump. Because at the last fire, I forgot to do this, and I'm never gonna do that again. As I look up, I can see on the sidewalk, a crowd has gathered from both the restaurant and my brother's business, and I can see my two brothers standing at the side. When the action subsides, my brother Roger comes over and he says, Al, is it gonna be all right? And I look at him and I say, well, we got here early. The best I know right now, there's a smoke condition, but I think we're gonna be all right. I'm just hoping that I haven't lied to my brother. When I look up again, I can see that our crew is coming back, and they are saucer-eyed. They all come, they grab additional tanks to exchange with theirs, except one, my captain. My captain goes and grabs the oxygen tank from our emergency kit for medical aids, puts it to his face, and then begins to full body hyperventilate into that mask. We're not supposed to react like that on a fire. I find out later that while they were in the fire and they were trying to make their way out because they were running out of air, they got turned around and started going further into the fire. They realize this enough time to make their way out, but they only have wisps of air when they get there. I don't even have time to process this as a second and third alarm ring out to call for other communities to help us with this fire. And the deputy gives his first report saying, that they can't find the seat of the fire, and for some reason, they can't open up the walls and the ceilings because they know the fire is there. I don't even know what to make of this. We're gonna be here a good long time. As the companies show up from out of town, I have to give them additional hose lines, but I can't do it until I get more supply lines. And while I'm figuring this out, a third and fourth alarm come in because it's discovered that this fire has extended to another building around the corner. It turns out that they were connected by an underground tunnel. It's at this point that the decision is made to evacuate the building from all personnel, and we're gonna fight it from the outside. We call it surround and drowned. It was a total loss. The only thing remains from that fire are 2 vacant parking lots to this day. My brothers never open up again. It's discovered that a young boy, 13 years old, has set this fire. He was in my brother's shop, and he was trying to get a free game by sneaking in, and they threw him out. And he went right into the basement, lit a couch on fire, and left. When the guys at the station hear about this, they are pissed. We almost lost 8 guys that night. I'm angry at this too, and I'm angry that my brothers lost their business. But I know something else. I'd just begun a degree in social work at that time, and we just had a class. And what was told to us is that kids who light revenge fires such as these only do it because they've experienced extreme trauma. I look at the kids in front of me and realize these are some of the very same kids. And this is my chance to make a difference. I turned to the kid who's asked the question originally, and I said, yeah, that is why I teach this class.